pleasure of introducing Amy Theisen. She is one of the most interesting women I know, and when she sent me her bio this morning, I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know this, I didn't know this, I didn't know this. She's getting more and more interesting. So she is the head of this group in Minnetonka. So if you have any questions about this group here in the Minnetonka location, definitely you can ask us, but you can ask Amy as well. In college, she decided to take a class on scuba diving to round out her degree in microbiology. Her first open water dive was not under the supervision of a dive instructor, but rather she dove 100 feet down to a Russian freighter in the Gulf of Mexico, guided by 2 Top Gun fighter pilots from the Air Force. Her first career out of college was working for the AGC project, a science program created by Dr. Robert Ballard, the scientist that discovered the wreck of the Titanic. I mean, how interesting is she? She was allowed to sit in the mini submarine Dr. Ballard used to find the Titanic and piloted the remote operated vehicle that was used to explore the Titanic's remains, all in a swimming pool, not in the middle of the ocean. In 2004, she mentioned to her husband, Brent, where's Brent? There's Brent. Thanks for being here, Brent. That she was interested in Feng Shui. We have to say it right, Feng Shui. She even spelled it out for me, so I say it the right way, because I would probably screw that up, Feng Shui. So he bought her 4 books for Christmas. This launched her studies that have since taken her across the world to learn this ancient art and science. She has studied in China, Malaysia, and Singapore. She's worked with hundreds of clients across the country. I have worked with Amy as well, and I'm just fascinated by the work she does. Tonight, she is sharing a topic that she never really talks about, but finds useful when meeting her clients. She thought you might find it helpful and fun as well. So please help me welcome Amy Theisen. She's the owner of Infinity Life Design. And welcome her to the stage tonight. She is going to be talking about look them in the face.
Yes, I appreciate that. Okay. So my title of my talk is Look Them in the Face, but it's really about attitude, because attitude, not your aptitude, is going to determine your altitude. So it's all about attitude. You walked in here tonight, there was 100 people supposed to be here. We have the registrations out front, but the weather kept them from being here tonight, and that's okay. So we're the brave ones that came here tonight, so we're gonna talk about attitude and how it reflects right on your face. So to show you the power of attitude, I'm gonna do a quick little demonstration with all of you in the room, so I ask all of you to participate. Number 1, the first thing we're going to do, I was just told to step back so the light was more on me instead of darkened out. I want you to, in a second, stand up and greet at least 4 people around you with an attitude of you have no interest in them, you'd rather be anywhere else than meeting them, and you just really don't care about them. All right, so go ahead, stand up, meet 4 people with an attitude of you don't care. When you've met those 4 people, you can return back to your seat. All right, way too much laughing. Go ahead and sit down. Yo. Hey. That was kind of hard, wasn't it? It was not easy to do. Now I'd like to change your attitude, and instead of greeting people with a nonchalance of that you really don't want and aren't interested in them at all, I want you to greet them like they're your long-lost best friend that you haven't seen for 2 years. And you just happenstance see them here tonight. So go ahead, find 3 people and greet them that way. When you've met your 2 to 3 people, please take your seats again. Very different energy, right? You were smiling, you were laughing, it got really loud in here, and you looked happy. That is attitude. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about how your attitude actually can be seen on your face. Many of us say we have a positive attitude, but yet internal we have these negative dialogues with ourselves, or what comes out of our mouth is negative. Many of us may change the way we set our goals or the things that we want to do. We're changing them all the time. That means we don't have the right attitude. Because if you have a goal, you should be passionate enough to go for that goal. If you don't want to go home at night, it means that your home has some sort of negative energy around it for you. I deal in energy. I deal in chi. So we are going to be talking about how that shows on your face. In fact, when I was young, I was in a household that was pretty negative. My parents believed that everyone had it better than they did, that you had to work hard for your money, that everything was a struggle. And you can see that on my face today, and you can see it on my sisters' faces too. You can actually, if you know where to look, you can see what happened in your childhood. Interesting, isn't it? Do you think it would be helpful as business owners if the person we met, we knew just a little bit of information about them by something that shows on their face? Maybe we want to know how quickly they'll make decisions. Or do we have to spend a little bit more time with them because they may take a lot longer to make decisions? So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. So what I would like you to do is take out your cell phone and take a selfie. Get nice and close. Get nice and close so that you can see everything on your face. And if you don't know how to do it, preferably not smiling. Sorry, Charles, I saw that big grin on your face. Preferably not smiling. And I see a photobomb happening behind me back there. So this is Barbara Corcoran. She's one of the sharks from Shark Tank. Maybe looks familiar to you. We can tell a lot about her face and how successful she is. We look at her forehead, the height of her forehead. We look at the strong nose, the cheekbones, and the size of her mouth. So tuck that in the back of your head as we go forward. We can also look at our past presidents. As we look at these 5 past presidents, we might notice that all of them have very strong foreheads. The forehead tells a lot about an individual. But look at how they look different. Some of them are square, straight up and down, and George Bush Sr. in front, his slopes back just a little bit. I provided you with a handout like this. So as we get into more information, you may want to take a few notes. So I just figured I'd give you a face and you can take notes about the things I'm talking about any way you want, whether draw lines or point, make arrows, things like that. So the first one is indeed about that forehead. Men, if your forehead is 5 fingers tall, okay, the thumb is not a finger, so you got to put another finger there. If your forehead is 5 fingers tall, it means you are suited for a career in politics or a career as a CEO or business manager. So look at all of our past presidents. All of them have those high foreheads. If you're a female, you're looking for 4 fingers, and it's between your eyebrows and your hairline. Now, some of you don't have hairlines, or so you think. You actually do. So it's not where you might be bald like Travis or Richard over here in the front. Okay, you can still tell where the forehead stops and the hairline would start. There's another interesting feature about forehead. So women, you want the 4 fingers. If you are a man and only have 4 fingers, or a woman and you have 3 fingers, it means you may be more suited for actually the doing part of a business. You're the one that's doing the work, not so much doing the strategy and the thinking. Now, I want you to look at George Bush Sr.'s forehead, and I want you to look at Kevin Leary's forehead, another shark. See how they tilt back very quickly. This is someone who likes to make decisions and move things along quickly. George Bush Sr. makes the decision quickly. Kevin O'Leary, let's get this pitch moving. He's in or out, usually one of the first sharks to be in or out based on that forehead. When you meet someone you're doing business with, you can look at the slope of their forehead and you'll know whether or not they'll make a decision quickly or if they need a little bit more information. Is this fun so far?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's take a look at eyes. Mila Kunis on the left, see how large her eyes are. We like to have, when we see someone with large eyes, it means they're quite emotional. They're compassionate. They're very feeling oriented. So Mila is perfectly suited to be an actress because of those emotional eyes. Women or men who have emotional eyes like this also would be fantastic working in HR or in counseling fields where they're dealing with people and with their emotions. Our actor on the left, or excuse me, on the right, Mr. George. When we look at a male actor, we like to see what we call fish eyes, or the fishtails is what we call them, the little lines, the laugh lines. We like to see those on our male entertainers. However, we don't want to see them cut all the way across the temple like his does. When we see a male with the temples cut by those fishtails and a line under the eye like he has, he is the flirt, he is the player, and he will have a hard time staying in a marriage. So I don't want the gals here to go home tonight and like study your guys' eyes to see if they just let out. And guys, I know you're looking at yourselves. Do I have the fish eyes? Do I have those fishtails? So the fishtails means you have a sexual appeal. Women are going, nice job. Women are attracted to you because you have what's called peach blossom luck. So that's what we talk about when we see those lines coming from your eyes. They only turn bad when they cross the temples and you have the line under the eyes. Yeah, put your hand down. What's your question? Can you draw them in with a pen? Well, I'd like to see you try that. That would be fun. Now, guys, if you want to find out what woman is going to be a handful for you, because we already saw the guy who's a player, now let's talk about the woman who's a player. Those big eyes again, high cheekbones, naturally wavy hair, and fluffy eyebrows, okay? All of those characteristics. See the big eyebrows, high cheekbones, wavy hair, big lower lip is another one. She's the one that's gonna be the handful for the male. Again, you gotta take it all together, so don't go home tonight and look at your wife's lower lip and say, ooh, she's got a big lower lip. Actually, you should appreciate that, because that means she likes the bedroom activities a little bit more. All right, that's the lusty lip. Now, this one is rather interesting. This is what we call the life palace, between your eyebrows. If you meet someone that only has one finger space between their eyebrow, it means they're more impressionable and able to be swayed. These are actually 2 terrorists from the wanted list. This is why I mean they can be swayed. They're people that you really don't want to trust because they always fall in with the wrong people. So that's the one finger. 2 fingers, and you all can try it out. Look at your picture. Can you fit 2 fingers in there? This means you're optimistic. You're somebody who has a good optimism. It's very good to have the 2 fingers in between your eyebrows. You're an optimistic person. If you can fit 3 fingers, it means that you give a lot away and you can be taken advantage of. Would this be helpful if you're hiring salespeople and you find a salesperson with the 3 fingers? They will be giving a lot away for your business. So know that. Look for the 2 fingers means the optimism. Now, many of us in this room are entrepreneurial. So just take your finger and rub across that life palace. If it indents a little bit, it means you are suited to be an entrepreneur. If it's flat across, you are more suited to be working with someone else. Okay, so just feel that little dent in there and you'll know if you're in the right place or not. What if there's a bump? We'll talk later, Dawn. Now the other thing with the eyes, let's go back to the eyes, about the mouth. We'll move to the mouth. President Ronald Reagan had a lot of influence when he was our president. And you can see that by the size of his mouth. The size of the mouth, the bigger it is, the more say you have in financial matters. And the way to figure out how big your mouth is to take and draw a line straight down from the center of your pupils and see where your mouth falls within those lines. If you reach all the way to where that line comes down from your eyes, your mouth is on the large side. This is great for salespeople because they have the gift of gab. Bigger mouth means bigger say. So you can see his mouth is quite large. Again, this is when you're not smiling. Smaller mouth means lesser say and not as willing to speak their mind. So let's talk about creativity. If you were looking for someone to do your marketing or your graphic design or to come onto your team to do social media marketing, you want to look for some of these creative things on their face. First one, the bottom of the chin, right here. Is there any little cleft or dimple, no matter how small? This shows creativity. On Taylor Swift's face, she also has what we call the M-shaped forehead. Kyle's right here. It's right in my face, that M-shaped forehead. This shows creativity as well. So as we know, Taylor Swift's a very creative songwriter. You'll also see a lot of that cleft chin in our actors and actresses, just a slight dimple or a little cleft in the chin. What about a salesman? Let's say you have to hire somebody to sell your product or service, or maybe you want to figure out, am I a good salesperson? This is Ron Popeil. He's, as seen on TV, he was the big guy that started all that. So you want to look for size of the mouth, clear definition of the lips, nice border, means they have the gift of gab. But better than that, it means they have influence. People will listen to what they say, and even better than that, people will buy. But we also have to look at the nose bridge. This part right up here, if it's nice and strong, like his is, it's not sunken, it means he has command of financial situations as well, and the trust of the people that he meets. So take a look at your nose bridge. Is it nice and strong? Is it clear? You may have the perfect salesman face as well. This always comes up. Can I do plastic surgery? Can I do Botox? Can I change my facial features? The answer is yes, you can. There are a couple instances where you may want to consider it. The first one, if you look at your picture and you see a straight line right down the center of that life palace, that's called a needle, right down the middle. It indicates loneliness and problems in a marriage. A little Botox on that would help clear up that line and actually improve your marriage. Another one is a line across the cheek. So if you have any lines on your cheek, that's another one that you would want to take care of. The place that you do not want a Botox is the laugh lines that come down on the sides of your mouth. After age 45, we want to see nice long laugh lines because that shows happiness and a long life for someone. So up to 45, fine, Botox away, but after 45, take care of that. Now, plastic surgery, yes, you can change your face and it might change what's in your heart, but really the true way to change what's on your face is back to attitude. If you've ever seen a picture of yourself 10 years ago and then you look at today, can you see shifts in the way your face has changed? Or if perhaps you haven't seen someone for several years and you've managed to get together with them and you look, wow, they look so different. That's because their attitude has changed, what's in their heart has changed, and it shows up in their face. So as soon as I figured out that my childhood life was a little bit toxic, I started making those small changes. The small changes of, yeah, I am good enough. It is okay for me to speak about what I'm passionate about because it might help someone else. And as soon as I started doing that, I saw things change in my face, especially right here in the nose bridge that we were talking about. It used to be very sunken. It is now much, much higher. So you will see the things on your face change when your attitude changes. Because life truly is a reflection of attitude. If you want a better result, please bring a better attitude. Thank you.